dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. My dear students, today in our standard 6 history, we'll be learning the topic Ancient Kingdoms of the South. And on the screen, you can see one map on which you can see the direction north and south, and by this you can easily understand that about what we are going to study in this topic when we say ancient kingdoms of the south. And on the screen you can see this one, Cheras here, then Pandyas, Cholas. So one by one we are going to talk in this topic in the ancient kingdoms of the south. Here this one, Satvahana Empire, then Chera, Chola, Pandya. About all these dynasties we have to talk today. So the points which we are going to cover in our today's topic, ancient kingdoms of the south: the Cher, Pandya and Chola dynasties, then the Satvahana dynasty, the Vakataka dynasty, the Chalukya dynasty, the Pallava dynasty, and the last one in this topic, the Rashtrakuta dynasty. Now about each and every dynasty we are going to talk about the capable king and the work of that particular king, or any special about these dynasties. So on the screen you can see the first one, the Cher, Pandya and Chola dynasties. Of the many dynasties in South India, 3 are mentioned in the literature of those times. As we all know now that the literature is the best or authentic source of the history, and we consider it as authentic source to study the history and to take references of the history. So 3 main dynasties which are mentioned in the literature of those times, and these are the Cher, Pandya and Chola dynasties. These dynasties were in power around the 4th century BCE, before Christian era. 4th century BCE जो है उस वक्त ये डायनेस्टीज पावर में थी, और इवन बिफोर दैट या फिर उससे पहले से भी हो सकती है, बट नियर अबाउट या फिर अराउंड 4th सेंचुरी BCE के पीरियड के टाइम पे ये तीनों डायनेस्टीज जो है वो रूल में थी, पावर करती थी. They find mention in the Ramayana and Mahabharata epics. They have also been mentioned in the Sangam literature in Tamil and in the inscriptions of the Maurya Emperor Ashoka. So not only one single source, but we have a number of references here. In Ramayana and Mahabharata also mentioned, then in Sangam literature also, and not only these two, but the references are there on the inscriptions of the Maurya Emperor Ashoka. In the Peri plus of the Erythraean Sea, Muziris is mentioned as an important port on the coast of Kerala, and this port was in the Cher kingdom and was a major center for the export of spices, pearls, precious stones, etc. to Rome in Italy and to other countries of the west. Here you can see the map. So when we talk about Pandyan density, the Pandyan or Pandyan dynasty was an ancient Tamil dynasty, one of the 3 Tamil dynasties, the other 2 being the Chola and the Chera. The Pandya king along with the Chera king and Chola king were referred to as the 3 crowned kings of Tamil. उन्हें तमिल के किंग्स कहा जाता था. The dynasty ruled parts of South India from around 600 BC early Pandyan kingdom to first half of the 17th century CE. This total south. They initially ruled their country Pandya Nadu from Korkai, a seaport on the southernmost tip on the southernmost tip of the Indian peninsula, and in later times moved to Madurai. Fish being their flag, Pandyans were experts in water management, agriculture, and fisheries, and they were eminent sailors and sea traders too. And that's why we have number of things related with the Pandyan kings about the export, then about Chola dynasty. Due to rivalry between the Pallava and Pandya dynasties, they took advantage and established their own empire. In 885, the Pandyan Empire was defeated by the Chola while expanding, and in 897, the Pallava Empire ended and the Chola Empire expanded down south as well. Now here also again same thing I will repeat. पहले भी कई बार मैंने आपको कहा है कि whenever we are talking about different dynasties in history जो हमारे टेक्स्ट बुक में दी है, तो हमें यही देखना है कि कौन सी डायनेस्टी में कौन सा कैपेबल किंग हुआ, किसने किसको हराया, और फिर कौन सी फैमिली का पावर जाके वहाँ पर किस दूसरी फैमिली का पावर आया. यही होता गया और इस तरह से ही होता आया, और फिर कुछ सालों तक या फिर हम कह सकते हैं कुछ सेंचुरीज तक उस पर्टिकुलर फैमिली ने रूल किया. बट अगेन कोई दूसरी फैमिली आई, कोई दूसरी डायनेस्टी आई जिन्होंने उनको हराया. अबाउट दैट वी आर टॉकिंग हियर. बट द बेसिक थिंग जो है ये हमें समझनी है कि एक के बाद एक फैमिलीज या डायनेस्टीज जो है वो आती गई पावर में, फिर उनको किसी ने हराया, या फिर दोनों के झगड़े चल रहे तो किसी तीसरे ने फायदा उठाया. ये सब हम इसमें पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. Just now we talked about this. Mujiris is mentioned as an important port of the coast of Kerala, and this port was in the Chair Kingdom. कौन से किंगडम में था? चेयर किंगडम में. And was a major center for the export of spices, pearl, precious stones, etc. The Pandya kingdom was a part of today's Tamil Nadu. There was a great demand for their high quality pearls. The capital of this kingdom was Madurai. The ancient kingdom of the Cholas occupied the region of Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu. So these are the places which you people have to keep in mind. And one more thing which is again very easy to keep in mind, that whenever we are talking about the trade of India with other countries or trade of Indian kingdoms with other countries, तो ये तो हमें ध्यान में रखना है कि हमारे यहाँ के जो स्पाइसेस है, पर्ल है, प्रेसियस स्टोन्स है, विच वो वेरी फेमस, और उनका ही व्यापार बाकी देशों के साथ होता था. सो वी टॉक्ड अबाउट द चेर, पांड्या एंड चोला डायनेस्टीज, एंड नाउ द सातवाहना डायनेस्टी. As in the north, after the decline of the Maurya Empire, the local kings in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka also became independent. जैसे मौर्य एम्पायर का पतन हुआ, मौर्य एम्पायर धीरे धीरे उसका जो पावर है वो कम होता गया, वैसे वैसे अलग अलग जगहों से, जैसे महाराष्ट्र है, आंध्र प्रदेश है, कर्नाटका है, वहाँ से कुछ राजाएं सामने आए जिन्होंने इंडिपेंडेंटली अपना किंगडम स्टार्ट किया. दे एस्टैब्लिश स्मॉल किंगडम्स ऑफ देयर ओन. वन ऑफ दीज वाज द सातवाहना डायनेस्टी. प्रतिष्ठान और द प्रेजेंट डे पैठन इन महाराष्ट्र वाज देयर कैपिटल. सातवाहना डायनेस्टी, प्रतिष्ठान और द प्रेजेंट डे, आज जो पैठन नाम की जगह है इन द औरंगाबाद डिस्ट्रिक्ट, ये सातवाहना का कैपिटल था. किंग सीमक was the founder of the Satvahana dynasty. The inscriptions in the Naneghat caves near Junnar place, which is in Pune district, bear the names of the important persons of this dynasty. जो सातवाहना डायनेस्टी है उनमें से जो कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट लोग थे उनके नाम नानेघाट में देखने को मिलते हैं, पाए जाते हैं. सम ऑफ द सातवाहना किंग्स वर नोन टू राइट देयर मदर्स नेम बिफोर their own. For example, गौतमी पुत्र सातकर्णी. गौतमी पुत्र सातकर्णी क्या होता था, जैसे अभी हम हमारा नाम लिखते हैं और हमारे नाम के सामने हमारे पापा का नाम लिखते हैं एंड देन वी पुट आवर सरनेम. तो इन दैट पीरियड ऐसे भी कुछ जगहें थी, ऐसे भी कहीं पर ये ट्रेडिशन था कि अपने नाम के साथ माँ का नाम लगाना. Some of the Satvana kings were known to write their mother's name before their own. For example, गौतमी पुत्र सातकर्णी, मतलब ये सातकर्णी जो किंग है वो गौतमी का पुत्र है, गौतमी उनकी मदर है. गौतमी पुत्र सातकर्णी. Here on the screen you can see Satvahana Empire. This one is Pune. This is Pratishthan or today's Paitan. Of the Satvana kings, Gautamiputra Satkani is particularly well known. A stone inscription in a cave at Nashik describes his deeds of valor. He had defeated the Shakya king Nafna. He is described as Tri Samudra Toya Pit Vahan. Now, what does it mean exactly? Here, Toya, which means water. The title means, which title? The Samudra Toya Pit Vahan. One whose horses have drunk the water of three seas. One whose horses have drunk the water of three seas. ऐसा राजा या फिर ऐसा किंग जिसके घोड़ों ने तीनों समुद्रों का पानी पिया है. एंड विच आर दीज, ये कौन कौन से है, कौन कौन से थे? द थ्री सीज आर द अरेबियन सी, द बे ऑफ बंगाल एंड इंडियन ओशन. मतलब इन तीनों जगहों पे उसका राज था, वहां तक का जो एरिया है वो उन्होंने कवर कर लिया था. ड्यूरिंग हिज रेन द एम्पायर ऑफ द सातवाहनास एक्सटेंडेड फ्रॉम द रिवर Narmada in the north to the Tungabhadra. We're talking about two rivers, Narmada in the north and Tungabhadra river in the south. Here you can see Narmada river in the map. फिर नीचे आएंगे तो ये कृष्णा है, कावेरी है, and here is Tungabhadra also. तो ये जो पूरा एरिया है यहाँ तक उनका ही राज चलता था, या फिर ये सारा एरिया उनके अंडर था, पावर में था. द फेमस पोएटिक वर्क गाथा सप्तष्टि in Maharashtri, a Prakrit language, was composed by the Satvahana king Hala. This work provides information about the life of the people during the Satvahana period. Again, we can use it as a source of history, or this one is the best source of history to know the lifestyle of the people of that particular period or during the Satvahana period. The cave sculpture at Ajanta, Nashik, Kala, Bhaje, Kaneri, Junnar in Maharashtra were carved during the Satvahana period. तो ये सारी important जगह है, tourist places है. अजंता, then Nashik, Karla cave also, Bhaje, Kaneri cave is also famous, and somewhere near Junnar in Maharashtra were carved during the Satvahana period. Indian trade increased greatly during the Satvahana period. Paitan, Ter, Bhokardan, Kolhapur were recognized as important centers of trade. So not only in the field of literature or not only in the field of making caves और अलग अलग बड़ी बड़ी चीज़ें बनाना, ट्रेड भी बहुत ज़्यादा पर चलता गया इस टाइम पे ड्यूरिंग द सातवाहना डायनेस्टी. एंड पैठन, तेर, भोकरदन, कोल्हापुर जैसी जगह थी, ये इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटर्स बनी ट्रेड की. ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड मेनी आर्टिस्टिक ऑब्जेक्ट्स वर प्रोड्यूस्ड एट दीज प्लेसेस. इंडियन गुड्स वर exported as far away as Rome. Just think about this. आज जब हमारे पास इतनी सारी सुविधाएं हैं, ट्रांसपोर्ट फैसिलिटीज़ है, तब भी हमें ये सारी चीज़ें उतनी ईजी नहीं लगती है, क्योंकि इट टेक्स टाइम और मेहनत भी उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा लगती है। तो उस वक्त लोग किस तरह से व्यापार करते होंगे जब ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की इतनी सारी फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं थी, कितने महीने या कितने सालों लगते होंगे लोगों को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाना, फिर वहाँ से वापस आना। देन ऑल्सो इंडियन गुड्स वर एक्सपोर्टेड एज फार अवे एज रोम. Some of the Satavahana coins carry images of ships. Here you can see Satavahana coin with a ship's image. You can compare this with our today's coins. The cave sculptures at Ajanta, Nashik, Kala, Bhaje, Kaneri, Junnar in Maharashtra were carved during the Satavahana period. We talked about this. Then the Naneghat, this one, and names in Brahmi script. Next one now, the Vakataka dynasty. Here on the screen, first of all, try to understand this on the map. सबसे पहले हमें देखना है कि उनका जो किंगडम है उसे समझने के लिए मैप पे जाना है और वो कौन सा रीजन था वो समझना है. सो हियर this one, Vakatakas. The power of the Satavahanas began to weaken by the 3rd century CE. Among the dynasties that emerged after that, the Vakataka was a powerful dynasty. Now, what we learned in the previous point, मौर्य एम्पायर जैसे डिक्लाइन होने लगा तो मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, अलग अलग जगहों पे इंडिपेंडेंट किंग्स ने अपना रूल शुरू किया. एंड इन दैट वेरी important one was Satavahana dynasty. But what happened after the weakening of Satavahana? फिर आए Vakatakas. It was founded by the king Vindhya Shakti. It was founded by the king Vindhya Shakti, succeeded by Pravarsen first. After his death, the kingdom of the Vakatakas got divided, and there were two main branches. The capital of the first was at Nandivardhan near Nagpur, and the capital of the other branch was at Vatsagul, which is today's Washim. तो ये दोनों जगह है, एक नागपुर के पास है नंदीवर्धन और एक वात्सगुल जो आज का वाशिम है. Pravarsen first, son of the Vindhya Shakti, extended the Vakataka kingdom in the north up to Malwa and Gujarat, and in the south up to Kolhapur. Here you can check the boundaries. At that time, Kolhapur was known as Kuntal. We have read that Gupta Emperor Chandragupta II, Gupta Emperor, Emperor Chandragupta II, had married his daughter Prabhavati to Rudrasen II. To Rudrasen II, the Vakataka king. Now try to understand this relation also. ऐसा होता था कि अलग अलग राजाएं हैं, अलग अलग किंगडम है, उनके लड़के लड़के आपस में शादी अगर हो जाती थी तो उनके रिलेशन भी बनते थे और वो किंगडम के लिए अच्छी बातें बहुत बार होती थी. सो हियर ऑल्सो व्हाट हैपेंड, गुप्त एम्परर जो है चंद्रगुप्त सेकेंड had married his daughter Prabhavati to Rudrasen II, the Vakataka king. Varadev, a minister of the Vakataka king Harisen, was a follower of Buddhism. So, cave number 16 at Ajanta was dug at his instance. Some other caves at Ajanta were dug and beautified with paintings during Harisen's reign. तो अभी अगर हम वहाँ पे जाकर देखेंगे एट अजंता या फिर एलोरा भी है, वहाँ पर भी अलग अलग केव्स है, लेकिन स्पेशली वी आर टॉकिंग हियर अबाउट अजंता. तो इतनी सारी केव्स है कि हमें ये सवाल आता है कि ये सब कैसे बनाया गया होगा, कितना टाइम इसे गया होगा. द आंसर इज हियर. हमें यहाँ पर आंसर मिल रहा है कि कहीं से कई डायनेस्टीज आती गई, कितने राजा है, किंगडम आते गए, लेकिन ये काम चलता रहा चलता रहा चलता रहा. जितने भी फॉलोअर्स थे बुद्धिज़्म के, उन राजाओं ने या फिर उनके मिनिस्टर्स ने यह काम जारी रखा. नेक्स्ट वन नाउ, The Vakataka king Pravarsen II composed Setubandh in Maharashtri, a Prakrit language, and Kalidasa's Meghdut also belongs to this period. Which one is very famous? कालिदास मेघदूत. तो ये जो कालिदास ने लिखा हुआ मेघदूत है वो भी इसी पीरियड में लिखा गया है. नॉट ओनली दिस, प्रवरसेन सेकंड ने भी सेतुबंध लिखा उस टाइम में इन द महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत लैंग्वेज. We are going to the next dynasty, and that is the Chalukya dynasty. On the screen you can observe the map. चालुक्य डायनेस्टी ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक है और महाराष्ट्र जो है अभी का वो अलग रह गया है. The Chalukya dynasty in Karnataka was a powerful one. The kingdom of the Kadamba Kalachuri had become powerful after the decline of the Vakatakas. We are talking about the kingdoms जो एक डिक्लाइन होता गया और फिर एक नया आता गया. जैसे मौर्य एम्पायर गया और उसके बाद हमने देखा कि सातवाहन आए, फिर सातवाहन वीक हो गए तो वाकाटका आए, फिर वाकाटका वीक हो गए तो चालुक्य डायनेस्टी. On the screen you can see the coins of Chalukya dynasty and Chalukyan architecture. Pulkeshi first established the rule of Chalukya dynasty in the 6th century CE. His capital was Badami, which was earlier called Vatapi. The Chalukya king Pulkeshi II had successfully repulsed Emperor Harshavardhan's invasion. The famous temple at Badami, here on the screen you can see famous temple at Badami, Aivol and Pattarkal were built during the Chalukya period. So not only caves, अलग अलग temples भी बनाए जा रहे थे और उस particular kingdom के कुछ references भी हमें उन particular जगहों पे मिलते हैं which we can use as source of history. So in the Chalukya dynasty what we have to keep in mind, Pulkeshi first and Pulkeshi second, and then the temples built by the Chalukyan kings. The Chalukyan dynasty was a dominant power in northern Karnataka during the 6th century. This dynasty is attributed with having introduced its own style of temple architecture called Chalukyan architecture. So if we go for the temple of Pattarkal या फिर आइवोल या फिर और जो बनाए गए हैं बदामी टेम्पल, तो वो एक टच हमें वहाँ पर जो दिखता है that is called the Chalukyan architecture. This architecture blends the finger aspects of the Dravidian and Nagara temple architecture, and hence it is also referred as Vesra. On the screen now, Pallava dynasty. The Pallavas were also a powerful dynasty in South India. Here, the heading of our today's topic is Ancient Kingdoms of the South. So we are talking about the kingdoms of the South only. लेकिन वहाँ पर भी कौन आया, फिर कौन गया, फिर वो जाने के बाद कौन आया, about that we are talking. So Pallavas were also a powerful dynasty in South India. Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu was their capital. Mahendravarman, now the name, was an able Pallava ruler. He expanded the Pallava kingdom. He was also a playwright. तो सिर्फ ये लड़ाई में ही सिर्फ अपना शौर्य नहीं दिखाते थे बल्कि लिखते भी थे. His son Narsimhavarman repulsed the attack on his kingdom by the Chalukya king Pulkeshi II. The famous Ratha temples of Mahabalipuram were sculpted during his reign. These temples have been sculpted in single rock. You can see the beauty of this temple. which is sculpted in a single rock. एक ही rock में ये sculpt किया गया है, बनाया गया है. The Pallavas had a powerful and well equipped navy. उनके पास नेवी भी थी. During this period, India came in close contact with the countries of Southeast Asia. Internal and foreign trade flourished. क्योंकि कनेक्शन जो है, कांटेक्ट जो है बाकी जगहों के साथ आने से इंटरनल ट्रेड भी बढ़ गया और फॉरेन ट्रेड था वो भी फ्लरिश हो गया. युआन शॉन्ग had visited Kanchi, this one, and recorded that people of all religions received tolerant and just treatment under the rule of the Pallava kings. This one is very famous name in the history. Whenever we talk about the literature of that particular period, then Yuan Shang is the name which is very important because he was a traveler. एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाना और वहाँ के रिकॉर्ड्स रखना, उस पर किताबें लिखना, ये काम युआन शॉन्ग ने किया. वो या फिर वहाँ की किताबें इकट्ठा करना, जमा करना, जिसका उपयोग सोर्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री की तरह आज भी होता है. सो युआन शॉन्ग ने लिख के रखा है कि all religions received tolerant and just treatment under the rule of the Pallava kings. Now the next one and the last one of the lesson, the Rashtrakuta dynasty. At the height of their power, the dominion of the Rashtrakuta dynasty extended from the Vindhya mountains up to Kanyakumari in the south. Their power was first established in Maharashtra by King Dantidurg. The Rashtrakuda's power was first established in Maharashtra by King Dantidurg. Krishnaraj first had the famous Kailash temple carved at Ellora. जैसे अजंता की हम बात कर रहे थे तब मैंने आपको एलोरा के बारे में भी बोला. तो एलोरा में जो कैलाश टेम्पल है विच इज़ वेरी फेमस, ये राष्ट्रकूटा डायनेस्टी के टाइम में कृष्णराज फर्स्ट के टाइम में बनाया गया. एट द हाइट ऑफ देयर पावर, at the height of their power, the domination of the Rashtrakuta dynasty extended from the Vindhya mountains up to Kanyakumari in the south. And on the screen you can see image of Kailash temple carved at Ellora. So up to now in this topic we have learnt about the different dynasties that ruled ancient India. And in the next and the last lesson of our history textbook, we'll review the social and cultural life in ancient India. In today's topic, we people learned about ancient kingdoms of the south, and in that, the Chair, Pandya and the Chola dynasties, the Satvana dynasty, the Vakataka dynasty, the Chalukya dynasty, the Pallava dynasty, the Rashtrakuta dynasty. Now what you people have to keep in mind in this, आपको क्या याद रखना है, कौन सी डायनेस्टी की शुरुआत किस किंग ने की, उसे इस्टेब्लिश किसने किया, और पावरफुल किंग जो है जिनके नाम इनमें दिए गए हैं वो कौन से थे और उनके टाइम पे क्या अच्छा काम हुआ. That is what you have to keep in mind from this lesson. So now we are going to stop here. Thank you very much. Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications. So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.